Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. What I want to talk about is the three-man militia and how they are equipped. And I'm just talking basic now. Right now, I'm just talking about the basic. And because I've already made videos talking about the different kinds of three-man militias, their specialties, meet and greet, the rescue, there's all different kinds. And but what I want to talk about is one thing that they all pretty much have in common, and that is the way they are equipped. And it's funny because a lot of people try to they look at the movies and television and stuff like this, and this is way they like when you probably don't remember, when I was a kid, we had you wanted to be a cowboy. So what you had, you wanted the boots, you wanted the chaps and the vest and all this kind of stuff, and so you tried to look the part. Okay, well, it's the same thing now. They see these action movies and these guys put on all their equipment, and then they see the people in Afghanistan and Iraq with all their body armor and all their equipment and stuff like that. And this is what a lot of people think of when they think of, oh, I'm gonna join this militia. And you can see these state militias, stuff like that. They're all equipped like a military unit type stuff. And that's right, that's what they do. They are a military type militia. The three-man militia is not. It is not let me see, how do I say this? It's not military, no. But it is using force as a means to keep their families and friends and local community safe. They do use force. Some of the equipment and tactics to the uneducated eye will look and say, well, look, you look like military. Your tactics are the same like military. And like I say, so the uneducated eye will see that. Just like the uneducated eye, they say, they look at a gun as a weapon that's going to hurt people. They're uneducated. They don't understand. You have sporting weapons. You have hunting weapons. You have, like I say, military type weapons. There's all different kinds of stuff. But like I say, the uneducated eye, they don't see all this stuff. That's basically the same thing that I want to talk about on the three-man militia. Now, there are, like I say, some things that are definitely, they all have in common. And like I say, according to their skills, they will dress differently. And then anytime your three-man unit is called in, there's going to be some things that you need to all have in common. And okay, the first thing is going to be a pair of boots. You need to invest in a really good pair of boots. The best is 2 pair of boots. Now remember, again, as a three-man militia, we will more than likely, we won't be leaving our local area. So in other words, you can change out your boots every other day, put on a different pair of boots. That's during when you really need it, shit hit the fan kind of stuff. You will be changing out your boots every other day, especially if they get wet. You need to have another pair of boots to put on while the other ones are drying. You have to keep your feet in good shape. Okay, and you're going to need I'm telling you all this stuff in the importance, the level of importance. So the next thing you're going to be needing is a handgun and holster. And you would think, okay, well, you're saying in importance, how come you said the boots first? I said, well, the thing is, you need, if once your feet are screwed, you have no value as a three-man militia. So you have to have a good set of boots above anything. So you have this boots. The next thing you need is a handgun. A lot of this is on personal preference, but I'm going to give you some suggestions. And I will suggest semi-automatic and 9mm. This is what I suggest. And like I say, I'm talking with all. And the reason I'm saying, and this applies to children, it applies to women, it applies to the men of all ages. And like I say, so that's why I've got to kind of keep it a little bit, a little bit general. And like I say, so the semi-automatic handgun and 9mm. The reason I say is 9mm is something that the women can use, the young people can use, down to maybe 14 years old, something like that. When they get younger than that, I would rather they wouldn't even have a handgun. A handgun's a little dangerous. It moves too easily. It's too easy to have accidental discharges. Police departments and military, they have a lot of accidental discharges. You go into police departments, you'll see holes in their walls and their ceilings and stuff like that where they've had accidental discharges. So it happens. That's why I would say when they get younger, you need to look more towards the rifle kind of stuff. And the same thing with women. Really, the only reason why I'm even saying the handgun is because you always need to be armed. Anytime you're called in, you have to be armed. I don't care if your three-man militia specializes in first aid, gardening, I don't care what it is, computers, whatever your specialty is, you will need to have a handgun. And the reason is, that's to protect yourself. I always say the handgun is to keep the boogeyman away, so he doesn't get, and like I say, self-defense range runs about like 6 foot away. Now, so anything more than 6 foot, it's not really self-defense. But we're talking about a militia, three-man militia. You have to keep yourself safe before you can protect your family and your friends and your local community. So that's why I'm talking the 9mm. You can get bigger calibers, but I say it's a little bit harder to handle and this type of stuff. And it's no big deal, but I'm just telling you in general. And then when you're doing 9mm, it's something that it's easy to have cases of 9mm hanging around, and then it'll be an easy ammunition to pick up. Along with the 45 is handgun ammunition. 38 is the revolvers, and so you really don't need, they don't put out that much firepower. That's another reason why I like the semi-automatics, put out more firepower. All the handguns are used to get you to your rifle. That's the next thing that's very important. And I suggest, like I say, the AK-47, 4 magazines, and a case of ammunition. That's what you should have, bare minimum. And people say, well, the AR, yes, you can. But I'm talking about the three-man militia taking care of your local area. The 30 caliber, that's a 30 caliber bullet is what the AK has. So it's a big projectile. So it goes through things easier and better. And one thing I've learned a long time ago was when you see your threat and they have a gun and you have a gun, it's scary. It's a whole lot easier if they're behind something and you're shooting through that to get to them than it is when you see them and they see you. It gets really scary when it's like that. So it's a lot easier when they're behind something and you're getting them when they're behind something. That's why you want the bigger caliber. And AK-47, it can be handled by young men. I mean, you're talking 12 years old, maybe. You know, now the Americans, they kind of spoil their kids, so they might be 13 or 14. But like I say, it can be handled like that. And women, a 100-pound woman can handle an AK-47. They're simple and easy, and so that's why I suggest that. And you use your handgun to get you to your rifle. So your rifle will be kind of close to you as a militia. Now, in the way of, you're going to need some kind of a hat. Your three-man team really needs to have the same kind of hat. It makes it easier to keep track of you all with the same kind of hat. And you need the hat, like I say, it keeps the sun out of my eyes, it keeps the rain, you know, I mean, you really need the hat. You're going to need a backpack, and a backpack is going to have a poncho, like rain gear in it, gloves, because like I say, no telling what kind of work you're going to be called out for. Some kind of food. I like freeze-dried food. It weighs less, takes up less space. A couple bottles of water. Because like I say, you may have to grab your water, grab your bag, and you'll already have some water to hold you over until you find out what you're really getting into. Now, as a team, at least one of you needs a pair of binoculars. They don't have to be the big fancy ones. Some small compact ones would be good, and it'd be okay for all three of you to have. And let's see, I said rain gear. Let's see, you three should have basically the same type of clothing to be a three-man militia. In other words, if you're all going to wear blue jeans, you all can wear blue jeans. I say cargo pants, you all wear cargo pants. Try to stay the same color. I haven't figured out yet, but I've been trying to think of maybe a vest that we would all wear in our group, so then it's easy to see our three. A poncho, you know, something to keep you warm needs to be in your what do you call it, backpack. Let's see, knives. You need fixed blade, long sheath knife, and a pocket knife. Have both. Those all can be in your backpack, so then you can grab it and go. I want to say that's probably about the basic that that you're going to need. I know you want to look cool and all that other kind of stuff, but that's not necessary. And the cooler you look, it's not that cool. We're talking about the holster, your handgun holster. And I made videos on that right handgun to use too. But your holster, don't get the kind that you see, you know, these the special forces kind of guys wear, where they're hanging down on your leg, on your thigh. You don't want that. You want something up on your hip. And the reason is you're going to be sitting, you're going to be moving around, you might be running, you might be climbing over stuff, you might be you know, walking through the woods or walking through debris if you're in town, you know, climbing over wrecked cars and stuff like that. Believe me, it's not that easy when you have a handgun strapped to your thigh. But anyway, I just wanted to give you some idea. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.